Okay, what are we talking about?
And let's make sure that we don't miss Avinash way too much here.
Actually, I do want to start by saying that this was one of the worst game weeks on the
Yeah.
planet ever. So boring it was, my God.
I mean, who would have thought when you have like a Manchester derby and Liverpool Fulham is probably not as high profile as the Manchester derby, but still as potential title race revival kind of thing. Although Arsenal screwed it up beginning of the week anyway, but even on the Spain side, Barca just a draw and
I
like
actually
Real
was hoping
Madrid
for a better
losing.
game. I was actually
Yeah,
hoping for a better game between Barca and Real Betis.
every single Barca fan was also doing that because Betis usually takes the game to Barca rather than sitting back. This was the first time I've seen Betis sit back so much.
He was way too
Yeah,
defensive for that.
yeah,
Anyway, we'll get to all of that in a few minutes, but
yeah,
yeah, just terrible quality game week.
yeah. Especially the Manchester derby that we just wrapped up in the morning.
I think
Oh
this was the
dear God.
first one that didn't have any significance anyway. So like
I
no
guess
one
so.
was
I
playing
mean,
for anything.
I think both of them were just waiting for the season to be over.
Yeah, I clearly looks like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
At
It looked
least
like that.
Ruben Amorim clearly looks like he wants the season to end,
Yeah, yeah,
not knowing what's going to happen to him. Anyway, cool. You want to start off with the Arsenal game,
yeah. I mean, I
or do you
only
want to
caught
start
the
with
highlights.
Liverpool?
I think the Arsenal game. I only caught the highlights, and it was way too early for me to actually wake up and watch that game.
4:30. Just
Okay, two things, right? So, number one, Arsenal did create good number of chances, even though
we played well.
for the they did rotate to begin with. They what we were discussing last time around whether Arteta would or wouldn't prioritize the Champions
The
League game
Champions
that's up
League.
there. So he definitely did. He put in a bunch of rotations. He started Trossard, Sterling, and all that stuff. So that tells you how much importance he has given to the Everton game. I thought did Martinelli ever show up in the later part of the game or no?
He did.
He
He
just
was he
he
was still
did.
there, but not like the previous game week. I forgot who we played. Who did we play last game week? Gee, I already forgot. Saka scored also. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Wasn't it Fulham?
Oh, that was Fulham. You're right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Fulham.
So
Yeah.
unlike that game, I don't think he had that much of a presence
Yeah, that's true.
in this game.
Anyway, but he did rotate. It showed. They were able to make some good number of chances, but nothing to finish over there. Especially that one Pickford save, which probably would have been ruled out anyway
Anyway,
because
yeah.
Trossard fouled the player before that. But
Yep.
that was a great save. And then the penalty decision. That's not a penalty, man. Again and again, they
Right.
keep making stupid decisions like this. There was barely anything to actually
He's actually
make that
falling
count.
behind.
Yeah, and I thought that initially when I saw the highlight, and I thought that okay, probably he fell on his leg or something, so he tripped. No, there was nothing. If you encourage some stuff like this, if you incentivize this kind of behavior, they're gonna keep doing it more.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's stupid. So at least for that on principle, you shouldn't be giving penalties for such silly stuff. And
It wasn't a
MLS has not
penalty
put a
anyway,
foot
dude.
wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
he hasn't put a foot wrong throughout the entire game, and that poor guy, he comes out of it saying that he's responsible for that draw. Yeah.
Yeah, see, there are a few things I was thinking about. One is Arsenal should just basically say no to this 12:30 kickoff anywhere, dude. Because one fuckers make me wake up at 4:30 to watch it, which I absolutely hate. And every time we played at 4:30, we've lost.
Yeah.
With the worst quality game that we could play, we'll play. I mean,
Yeah.
yesterday we were still good, but like Everton were way too compact. They were way too defensive minded to a point where they were stubborn and we couldn't really do much.
I
So
mean,
that
I
is
think
one.
Everton. You can imagine Everton doing that. So that's how they got results anyway against all the big teams.
Yeah, that club is amazing, dude. They actually play for nothing. They're just there for vibes and just to screw over other teams. They did that with Liverpool. They're doing that with Arsenal. They're just
They
there,
could
dude.
have, they could have done it with Manchester City last season, except Ward
Yeah.
did not give the handball to
Handball,
Rodrigo.
yeah.
Sorry, Rodri. Yeah.
I know. So they're just there just to ruin some people's fun, dude. They don't play for anything, just time pass.
Okay, so one more thing
Second,
before I forget. Yeah, bro, you
dude,
gotta
he's
get
on
this
mute,
guy in
man.
some. Why is he jumping so early, dude? He's jumped before. I mean, I understand
The
that some
last
people
four
jump
or
before
five
the
times he
shot
jumped.
is taken. Yeah, so I saw it in penalty shootout. I think this is clearly an intention. This is what he wants to do. He
Yeah.
wants to gamble, but you can't do this stuff, bro.
Gamble
You
at least
can't
on
play
the
with
right
open
side
cards.
once. No, at least one side, one time at least gamble is fine, but dive on the right side for the once, no. The last 5 times he's done this, he's dived on the wrong side all the time.
No, it's wrong side because he dives before the shot was taken, and
Yeah,
that
that's
guy
the other
that
thing.
guy can see you saw you're diving, and he's just gonna roll it over the other side. I think it's a good bet to play against Vinicius, I guess. So the terrible penalty taker meeting Reyes, like we'll see who is going to
Terrible
be more
penalty
terrible.
stopper, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
And secondly, so forget the 4:30 game, like forget that early kickoff. The fact that we go to Everton, we never win there. I don't know what juju they have there.
Oh, is
Just
it?
impossible to go there and win. Every year is the same thing, man. It's so annoying. It's like,
I
or
didn't I
even
didn't
if we
know there
win,
was
we'll win
something.
like, even if we win, it'll be like very, very like last minute. Something
Okay.
will happen and we'll win, or they'll go and do something and they'll win 1-0. I hate that weekend when we have to play them. This season, though, they did that even at Emirates. They
Oh
took
yeah,
four
that's
points away
true.
from us.
Yeah. That's true. Oh, that's crazy,
Horrible.
bro.
It's horrible. Like you can't like you know how last season when Tottenham fans were very happy that they were losing to City because Arsenal wouldn't win the league. Why the hell can't Everton do that? Like they'll be like, okay, I'll lose to Liverpool. I'll lose to Arsenal so that Liverpool gets screwed.
They
That
got
didn't
nothing
happen.
about they got nothing about City, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. It's
They
just
do that to
annoying.
Liverpool probably, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean when they scored the 2-all equalizer, I was like, oh my god.
it was over. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome that day, but then after that, yeah, so that was one. Like, so early kickoff, we should just not do. And then this Everton games, I hate when we go to Goodison Park. I thought the goal that Trossard scored was actually pretty impressive. Sterling did a great job of carrying the ball all the way from our half. Well, yeah, our half to. And it was a good pass, like calculated pass. Good shot, finish it off. And at that time, I actually thought we would hold on to win.
Yeah.
The penalty
Because
was
Everton
absolute
didn't give
false.
anything in the game anyway, so they didn't show
Yeah,
up at all. Yeah.
they were there. Like I said, they were just there for vibes,
Yeah.
dude. Like
Yeah.
they got that one penalty and then they were like, okay, I'm done.
We good.
The penalty was total bogus. And I was actually reading yesterday. So every decision that has gone against Arsenal this season, right, where we've dropped points, we've dropped 15 points from games where the decision was wrong. So it frustrates me to no extent because we are 11 points behind Liverpool.
God damn.
And and I don't think we'd win, but at least the race could have been much closer. Especially
I mean,
considering that Liverpool
yeah.
lost today.
That's true. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you covered 1 point overall. That's pretty
Yeah, that
much
was
it.
useless. Like, it doesn't really matter. We don't have enough
Yeah.
games to make this 1 point
Yeah.
count.
1 point. 1 point at this point is not materialistic. Yeah.
Yeah, zero. Like, even if we had got the 3 points, it's not like anything would have changed, but still, it's something, right? But yeah, Harrison made a meal of it. The referee took the bait. It just was a mess. It just doesn't make
I mean,
any
I think
sense.
once the referee gives that, all VAR is basically looking there. Is there any contact inside the box? It's like, come on,
Anything.
bro.
Yeah,
So,
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the most easy thing that you can do. Like minimal contact, I'll give it a penalty. But again, if you see this, no, this will never happen to another team, which is what frustrates me every weekend. I'm like, fuckers, this is not on. I just wish, like at some level, Arteta just goes says, I'm really sorry for what I said. Just stop screwing us around. Like, stop screwing us. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta-
it was bad.
Yeah.
Actually, now talking about that, right? That happened in the 49th minute or something, 47, 49 minutes.
Second half, early second half.
Early
Yeah.
second half, right? Which is why I don't feel that bad because you still had about 40, 45 minutes to
45
go and
minutes.
get a winner. And you didn't, it's not like you rotated everyone. Saka was on, Martinelli was on, everyone was on in the second half. Odegaard had come on. And dude, what the fuck, dude? Why can't Odegaard score, man? Like, what happened to his feet? Yesterday also, he missed his skied one bloody when he should have actually
Yeah.
been scoring it. And I'm like,
Concerning going into a Madrid game like this, bro, that's my concern, right? So
No
I
game
would have
real.
liked them to be a little bit more in charge of that game, going out
Yeah.
of it thinking, not feeling like, oh shit, everything is against us again. So that mentality never
Mentally,
helps going
yeah,
into a
mentally
big,
it's
big
draining,
game like
yeah.
this. Yeah.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
again,
yeah, you didn't
can't-
expect.
No, I'm
Sorry,
saying
yeah.
like you can't expect to say, hey, should have won the game 1-0. No, you had 40
Yeah.
minutes to go and right or wrong that someone
it up.
else did, but you didn't do shit. And it's not like we were going to score as well, right? We just kept the ball, we were doing nothing. We were almost playing like City. Chumma keep the ball and do nothing. So that pissed me off. But yeah, I mean, after a point, I was like, anyway, the title's done. It doesn't really matter. But it's concerning the number of times we get screwed early on in like late first half, early second half, and then we just basically melt.
Yeah.
That's actually very concerning. But yeah, dude, that sucked.
I was hoping that Liverpool would draw points, and I was hoping that Arsenal would win
Yeah.
before the weekend, because Fulham is a decent team, and going away
very
to
good team,
Fulham and getting something in the mode where Liverpool have been over the past couple of weeks, I genuinely thought that maybe Fulham would create this upset, and that's what happened at the end of the day.
They're strong at
But-
home. Fulham
Yeah,
is pretty strong at home.
It is one thing that okay, let's move on to the Liverpool game. I guess
Yeah.
Now,
Let's talk about Liverpool.
Fulham did make it very, very difficult for Liverpool to create something substantial, but Liverpool didn't have much to begin with. I don't know what's going on with this team. Maka scores a beautiful, brilliant goal, but come on, man, this was not a champion's performance
I actually-
whatsoever. Yeah.
I actually thought Fulham should have come away with like 4 or 5 goals in the game.
Sure, yeah, they had so many
They
opportunities.
had way too many opportunities.
Kelleher actually was pretty good again in the goal, even though he conceded 3 goals. But at the end of the day, he
I don't
did
think you
stop.
can fault him for a single one of those goals.
No,
Man.
nothing, none of them. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty good. Fulham did play excellent. Traore, I don't even know what's going on with this guy. He shows up on multiple random occasions like this and then disappears for like the half of the season. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, Jimenez looked very good. Vincent looked excellent. My God. Yeah.
Castanier's cross for the first goal was absolutely mad, man. First touch, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that is some insane level skill that was. Like, on the run, without stopping.
Yep.
Ooh, that was too
Early
good. And
cross,
the finish
yeah,
on that.
very good. Yeah.
And the finish. That was...
Yeah,
Oh,
I
talking
was
about
expecting
that-
more from Salah at least. Given how it
I
has been
honestly
going
think
on.
he's done, dude. I honestly think his
Yeah.
mind's not there anymore. Like, I
Even
wouldn't be
VVD,
surprised
man.
if... VVD is such a bastard, dude.
Yeah.
I cannot stand that guy, man. Dude,
Why, what's going
fucker.
on?
That guy, man. Every game he plays fucking WWE, dude, with defenders. Like, with attackers of the other team, sorry. Every game he does this. And today, for the third goal, when Muniz basically held him off and turned around and scored the goal, he's
Yeah.
going and complaining to the ref saying, hey, he pushed me, it seems. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell, dude? Every game you literally kick and stab people over there, that's fine. And did you see what he did to who is the midfielder, center midfielder? What Berger? I forgot his name. I'll tell you his name. Somewhere
team?
around the 65th today only, dude.
Oh, Fulham.
Yeah. Sanderberg. So
okay,
today
okay,
it's
yeah.
like a 65th minute corner for Fulham. Sanderberg is blocking, like he's vying with Van Dijk for the ball to try and hit the ball, right? Van Dijk just
Okay.
elbowed him, man. And I'm like, what?
probably missed
That's
this,
not a
yeah.
red. That's fine with you, but like Muniz blocking you and just holding you back and turning and screwing you over and scoring the goal is a problem. And he's
Not
done
be a
this
hater.
multiple
VVD
times.
gets away with this quite a bit.
Way too much. Way too much he gets away. He high heel tackle, he'll push everyone, he'll hit everyone. I'm like, are you in the wrong game? Like, are you forgetting what you're supposed to be doing? I don't know, man. I
He
felt
has
like,
some of that Messi privilege. I think he's enjoying one of those things. Yeah. Usually, like Messi does some tackles, but they still won't get the yellow cards or red cards.
it
Right? So
remind this
usually-
what he's
yeah.
doing reminds me of what Nemanja Vidic used to do with like peak United.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whatever
I mean,
you
they
do,
get
it's
away
like
with
cool muff.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
you get away with
superstar vibes get you away with like some of those.
Plus, this fellow's
those
intimidating, dude. I'm sure like referees also scared to give him anything because I'm sure he can't yell at them. He's 6'5", dude. He can pound the refereries with one hand.
No, it's not
but
just that,
A lot
like,
of referees
because
have said
he's-
that, right? Not to Van Dijk, but a lot of referees have said that they've been intimidated by big players before. So
Oh,
I
is
don't
it?
know why. Yeah.
Imagine going against Dan Burn, man. What the hell?
Yeah, but he's like a gentle giant. What are you going to do?
I mean,
He's not like
as per
aggressive
you,
like Van Dijk.
who knows what he's
That's
doing?
also
yeah.
true. That's also true. But again, it's not Liverpool. It's not. You don't have that fan base. You don't have.
True.
Like all of that plays a role. I feel. But yeah, I was very impressed with that Fulham man. Marco Silva is doing a great job.
Yeah.
Marco
I mean,
Silva,
literally
not their
nobody showed up in this game, at least just on the Liverpool side, except for the two midfielders.
Gravenberg was good today.
Groundwork was good. Maka was good. I mean, Maka was good. Number one for the
Maka
goal.
is always
and then,
consistent, man. That's
he's
what
never,
I like about him.
Yeah, he never dropped his level throughout the season anyway. But yeah, expected. Maka's performance is expected. Groundwork was
Yeah.
good. But Soboslai had a bad game, in my opinion, at least. He gave away too
Soboslai
many
should
balls.
have conceded like his back pass, his side pass, which went to
That should have been a goal.
Iwobi should have been
Yeah,
a goal.
Iwobi. Yeah.
Yeah, should have been a goal. Like they really fucked up today, dude. Konote also in the first, he misplaced a back pass or something. Yeah, they didn't have a good game.
And they have Leicester, West Ham and Leicester in that order coming up. And I
Those are easy
think
games, man.
those teams are going to be okay. If they drop points there, then they're in trouble actually. There are
I mean,
more
it depends
serious
if
games
we
coming up
capitalize.
after that, yeah.
No, it depends on whether Arsenal capitalize. Forget them
That's
dropping
true.
points.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
I have a feeling Arteta actually gave up.
Even I kind of, after a point, I felt like, okay, maybe the focus is somewhere else right now.
Yeah.
He wasn't as animated on the touchline as I generally see him. The players, I think, after like 75, just were like, okay, it is what it is. Saka was non-existent in that half that he came on. I don't know, suddenly Nwaneri is kind of showing a loss of form at the wrong time. So,
He's a kid.
It's interesting.
He'll be fine, yeah.
yeah, I'm sure he will be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that concerned me a little bit. Also, it was 4:30 in the morning when I woke up to see that match, so I was not very happy about it. But yeah, I still don't think this weekend really changes much. I think the biggest winners in this game week had to be Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Yeah, I
Even
think they more or less.
Forest lost it, isn't it?
Forest lost today, yeah.
Forest lost to Aston Villa, and
Yeah.
they might make this top 4 a dogfight. But
Who?
if Villa, so Nottingham Forest losing that game
Mm-hmm.
against Aston Villa, now City is not that far, like
Oh,
4
actually,
points or something like
sorry.
that.
I meant to say not Chelsea is the big winner. I meant to say Aston Villa is the big winner. I'm
Aston
sorry.
Villa is also a big winner. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chelsea also won, right?
What they drew today, 0-0.
What?
They did nothing. They absolutely did nothing in that game.
Wait,
So
wait,
they
wait,
drew
wait,
to
wait.
Brentford 0-0, and then City drew 0-0.
Brentford.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
City drew to United. Now, basically, fourth is 53 points, fifth is 52, sixth is 51, seventh is 50. But Newcastle are 57th on 50 points, but they have two games in it.
Yeah.
Dude, they are the favorites now to come to top 4.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if they win both of them, they'll be like in the
They'll
fourth
be
position
56. They'll be
Yeah.
56. 1 point behind
1 point
Nottingham.
away from Nottingham Forest. Forest should not be slipping up this point of time, man. So because they could potentially lose the top 4th position if if
Yeah.
Man City or Aston Villa pick up a late streak of winning.
Oh, yeah. Couple of
Yeah,
wins here and
they
there.
could
Yeah, Nottingham
potentially
Forest
do
will
it.
have. That also, I think, is coinciding with Chris Wood not scoring suddenly.
Yeah.
So
that is also coinciding because I started having him in my FPL team.
I wanted to remove him. I was like, okay, I'll give him one last chance. Now I'm like, boss, go screw yourself. No, but wait, did Newcastle playing tomorrow? No. Yeah,
I
they're
think so.
playing tomorrow.
12
Yeah.
o'clock. And they're
Yeah,
playing
they're playing Leicester.
So it should be a win for them anyway. But
Yeah, that'll be interesting. If now
I
it's
think-
actually bad news. If Newcastle make top 4, it's actually bad news for Liverpool and Arsenal. Neither of them
Why?
can buy Isaac at that point. He needs Champions League football. I don't think he gives a shit whether it's at Newcastle.
I mean,
or-
unless you shell a lot of money, they're not going to be okay.
yeah, but again, like, what is the incentive for Newcastle to sell at that point, right? That they're already doing well. They're in the top 4 if they come.
I mean, Isaac might want to move, right? So I'm sure they're okay with Isaac moving for a wad of cash if Isaac wants to actually go somewhere else. I think we are underestimating how much of a say Isaac has in this thing, I guess, because it's just 1 year, 2 years left. Unless they're renewing his contract right now in the summer, I think Isaac has like a good amount of say in when he
Yeah,
wants to
but
leave
if
or
they
where he
do
wants to
make Champions League, right? Like, I agree with what you're saying. And again, you want to play for like the likes of at least Liverpool. Forget Arsenal. You would want to play for the likes of Liverpool because of the history in the Champions League, playing at Anfield. Great stadium and this thing, right? But if they do make Champions League, like Newcastle, they can throw a bunch of money at him, right? Make him their highest paid player, which I think he
Sure.
already is. Or maybe Tonali is, I'm not sure. One of those two guys are the highest paid player in the club. And then basically be like, dude, we're going the right direction. Stay with us for a few more years. We'll give you this much money. You're guaranteed to start in the squad. There's no two ways around it. So they'll say, oh, we'll build the team around you. Stay back. Then what?
It's I have to say it's very attractive. Yeah, I mean the
It does
project
look-
itself is very attractive, and they do look like they are progressing in the right way.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like they're overachieving one specific season or something like that. The only reason why they didn't perform well last season was because they had too many injuries and Champions
Injuries,
League,
exactly.
yeah, came at the right time, and then they couldn't do either, like Premier League or Champions League. So
They were not
this
in
time
Champions
around
League
they'll be
last season.
prepared. Yeah, sorry.
They were not in Champions League last season.
No. They were. They played PSG and they lost.
Oh,
they
you
won
mean
at
last
home
season?
like
Okay,
4-0.
not this
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
Okay.
Not this
Yeah,
season.
last
yeah.
season. Okay, got it.
Because of that, they crashed out and they ended up
Correct,
at like
you're
6th
right,
or
you're
something
right,
like
you're
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there is a weird potential 5th position going to England for Champions League because if Aston Villa does create an upset and win against PSG, I am positive that the 5th spot in the Premier League
Will come to the
go
Premier
will have the UCL chance, and who knows what's going to happen.
Okay, I know this is going to be weird. Arsenal have to beat Real Madrid. PSG should lose to Villa. And if United win the Europa League, which we can have 6 teams from the Premier League playing in the Champions League next season. That is absolute madness.
That's crazy, bro.
Not only Manchester United, even Tottenham.
No. How are these two teams still doing well in the Europa League? I don't know.
There's not a lot of competition there, no?
I guess so,
That's
yeah.
the other
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Wait.
But
Actually, wait, hold on. I don't think Villa or Arsenal also need to win. I don't think that needs to happen. Because even if Chelsea win the Conference League, England's coefficients go up. So I think there could be 5 even if Chelsea wins the Conference League.
dude, this is looking very good for EPL for the Champions League spots, huh?
It is looking good, yes. More money for sure. which
Yeah,
is
I mean,
good.
it's not
because
just
then
that, right? Like having 6 spots from your league is very good. Yeah.
it's actually pretty.
Yeah.
It's actually stupid, dude. It shouldn't be that much.
Yeah, sure, but those are the rules. What else are you can do? So you can maximize more number of teams from your league going into the Champions League. That's good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for EPL, yes, but overall, when you look at it, like, look at what happens to the French league, right? Like, consistently, there's going to be 3 teams, 4 teams that make it. Well, technically 3, because then after that, the 4th team has to go through qualifier. Most times, they're not good enough to come out of that.
Yeah.
So, because of which, like, historic clubs are going into bankruptcy right now. Bordeaux went down. Now, Olympique Lyon are saying that they are bankrupt. They're going to have to sell everyone. So, who's there for the next 10 years? It'll be PSG winning the league every year. No one else is challenging them. So,
No,
the quality of the
what's
league itself is going.
No, that's okay. But how is Premier League losing out, or some other leagues are losing out? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying football as a whole is losing out because of this. Because the league that is actually rich is getting richer, and leagues that actually need the investment, like the French league, Serie A, they're getting poorer. Serie A might be an exception, but at least the French league.
Since I mean, I don't know, man. I can't blame Premier League for.
I'm not saying you should blame the Premier League.
That's what I'm saying, right? So if you are good enough, you need to get that coefficient at some point of time. There's no other way around it. And the Premier League product is quite good, so they earn more money. There's no escaping that.
Fair.
And
Fair.
so I don't think we can say that the rich is getting richer, because yes, success breeds more success. That's normal. But there are cycles when you look at it long enough. There are enough cycles to think that, okay, a specific cycle has ended and then a new cycle will begin. Even now, I feel like this is probably one of the worst years for Premier League in a long time in terms of Champions League.
Why?
Arsenal, yes, the top teams, whatever I see in Premier League, they are not, after what I've seen from the PSG game. I lost a lot of respect for Liverpool because of that. Because I put them on a pedestal up until then, thinking that, okay, this is the best team, this is the team to beat. No disrespect to PSG. PSG is probably
It's a very good
the
team.
third team to beat right now.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to face them at this point. But I had this crazy good opinion of Liverpool, where like this is the most unbeatable, this is the most balanced team where everybody is performing so well. So it's all good. Arne Slot, despite his first season, is doing so well and all that stuff, right? So suddenly I noticed that Liverpool is not that thing anymore. In 2 weeks, all that feeling is gone. And then Arsenal, yes, they are there. They also got like a pretty nice draw for now, up until now. And now, if you look at the Premier League this thing, it's like 15 points or now 11 points or something like
Whatever,
that.
yeah.
And yeah, so that doesn't look good. Nottingham Forest is not playing in Champions League or any other thing. Chelsea is in Conference League. Manchester City, you know what the shit show about Manchester City this season. And Aston Villa is the only team that's overachieving for their levels at this point. And they beat Bayern this year. And they potentially are going to give a very good game against PSG if things go very well. Because I don't expect PSG having this kind of a bang NBA style game anymore against Villa. That's going to be a brutal bus and deal with it. Yeah.
No, I actually think, like, we'll quickly touch this because I know we've got other things to talk about as well. But I actually think PSG have it far easier than people imagine. Only because they've wrapped up the league. They have literally nothing to play for in France right now.
That's how it is almost every other year, bro. For them.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. But again, like, generally you encounter more stronger opponents as they progress through the Champions League. So they don't have to show that pedigree. But with Villa, the problem is they're fighting on the Premier League side also to get into the top 4. And they're fighting, like, they'll have to go play PSG. So they can't actually afford to rest players at all.
100%, yes.
So I actually don't know if it'll be as easy or as tough as people say. I think PSG will just play like second-grade teams in France from now on, and then they'll rest all their good players.
But I'm not talking about resting or PSG having enough, squad to play this. What I'm saying is that PSG has not had it easy anyway. They've come last and they had to play an extra game.
Yeah.
All VA, that is an extra game against their own league opponents. They whipped their
still
ass
a game,
and
yeah.
But still, you need to play those extra 2 games, and then you come in playing against potential favorites who top the entire league in the Champions League and sitting like 10 to 15 points clear at a certain point of time in the table.
Fair enough.
Right, so they did not have it easy whatsoever, and they made it look easy. That's my point. They made it look. It is so easy to go to Anfield and play, and I, number one, gained some respect for Enrique and PSG overall, And then I also lost a little bit of respect for Liverpool for for that two specific games. So maybe I thought that I was expecting a little too much from Liverpool, or I put them on a much higher ground than where they deserve to be. All what I'm trying to say here is that Aston Villa can upset potentially simply because it's not like any other team which you play. Aston Villa, I don't think they've ever played PSG. Again, it's the same thing with PSG playing some teams like this. The same way they beat Bayern, they just sat back and they're very good at that. And then their counters are super fast. So now with Marco Asensio and Rashford, they look more stronger in terms of the attack. So if they do get chances, they can convert. And these are the teams which PSG has been losing out to on several occasions.
Fast-paced
United, Dortmund, who they have somehow they scraped through these weird results last season with all the odds against them, and they just do it. So PSG loses to these kinds of teams far more often than we can imagine. They play Barca, and they over the two legs they lose the first leg, and they still made it in the count in the second leg. So when there is a bigger team, they actually show up much better. This is a PSG. I think whenever you make them this kind of into this chokehold where I'm just going to sit back, they have a very hard time to do that because the lack of.
And I don't think I think Unai is good enough to have noticed that if what you're saying, right? Like I mean it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Unai is their ex-manager and he also has ex-PSG player in them.
Oh, that's
Marco
true.
Asensio.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I did forget about that.
He was the one who lost Barca 6-1 at home.
Yeah. You're right. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just coming back to Liverpool, right? Like we were talking about it. Like you brought this up, we've spoken about the fact that Liverpool may not necessarily have anything to play for. But I think the fact that they're still continuing to have a very subdued display, I think goes a little bit beyond the fact that they don't have anything left to play for. I feel like something has happened in that squad that we were not probably aware of. That tells me that it's not working out anymore. Maybe they kind of know about Salah leaving or maybe Van Dijk leaving. I don't know what it is, but
I'm positive that some contract decisions are affecting this whole team right now. So my whole point is that the Premier League is. I think I spoke to Avinash about this. Premier League is just about to enter its new phase, probably from next season. Arsenal probably are going to have to go through a good, squad bolstering. Chelsea, I don't even know what to expect from them anymore.
Yeah.
Manchester City, we all hope, at least not you. A lot of neutrals hope that it's just a temporary mishap for this season and they're at least going to be more competitive next season. There's Newcastle's, Aston Villa's coming through from, even Nottingham Forest for that matter. They're coming through from the bottom up and then actually giving a good challenge. Manchester United is down the drain, Spurs down the drain, and Liverpool will not be the same place next year.
I don't think so.
It looks like a brand new era where Arsenal might be the strongest team coming up in the next season if Arteta plays his cards right. I don't expect much competition from anybody else, at least for the next season alone, unless Liverpool makes up their loss of their contract situation and Manchester City comes out of this slump and then does something miraculous again. Yeah.
Let's actually, you bring up an interesting point. So there are a couple of things in what you just said, right? Like one is, I agree with you. I don't know if Liverpool can do the same thing again. Not because they're not good enough or something, but I just think if they end up losing Salah or Van Dijk or both, right? I'm assuming, I'm just taking into account the fact that Trent's gone. Right? If they end up losing both of them, I think the rebuilding is not a one-window job.
One season. Yeah.
Yeah, or what?
Especially
Definitely
the way
not
they spend the money. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's assume that they spend money also, right? Like even then, replicating 60% of your goals being scored by one person, having that replicated itself is a big deal. And then if you lose Van Dijk on top of that, you've lost a big leader in the squad.
Yeah.
Right? So if they stay, then it's a different thing. But if they don't, then I don't expect Liverpool to be fighting for the title. City, the advantage they'll have is obviously Rodri will come back. But it remains to be seen because everyone who's had an ACL and gone out typically don't come back at peak levels anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see if that happens. But they're going to be losing Kevin De Bruyne, which...
he has been a loss this entire season anyway, so he hasn't.
It doesn't matter, dude. You have a serial winner. You basically have a magician in your squad, which will obviously he'll play an influencing role in everyone else, right? And the fact that this piece of junk Phil Foden is doing nothing again, which is why I tell you he's one useless prick. His loss of form is just terrible. So unless he picks it up, I don't actually think City can do much either. Arsenal, they are their own enemies at this point, unfortunately.
100.
Yeah, so I don't know if we will actually get someone or if the rumor will be we are interested in, keenly looking at, like that's how our rumor mills go. We'll never say we are buying someone. We'll be like, oh, we're interested in him. We are keenly looking at him. We are analyzing whether he's a good fit. So it clearly looks like we need to get a striker and a winger and
Yeah.
potentially another centre back. I don't know, man. I don't know. Next season, but I'll never. No, the one thing I don't want to say is I'll never discount Chelsea out of it. Chelsea is weirdly that one team that can just come back on any given day.
I don't know, man. So, I mean, I don't see them as like this. They lack seniority. That's what I mean. So, they lack experience in a way that, okay, things need to be stable. So, that's what I don't see from the Chelsea
You mean
side
the
at this point.
management or on the player side?
No, on the player side of it. So, the only guy who I look up and say that, okay, this is probably a leader is Reece James, and he goes missing potentially 75% of the season,
He's just
almost
injured,
every
poor
season.
guy. Yeah.
So, and then they used to have even the Chilwell guy, Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva left, and Chilwell also is like, I think he didn't, wasn't he sold recently?
No, he's still-
Or he's again injured, I guess. Yeah, he will be sold no matter what. So there's no way they're gonna keep that guy. So, and then you are left with these people like Cole Palmer, the young guy, Enzo Fernandez, the hothead, Caicedo,
See, Enzo Fernandez can be
Lavia.
one of their leaders. If you
Sure,
actually
but
look at it.
again, so he's not that like the leadership material in such a way that okay, I can look up to this
not
person
John
and
Terry,
I know
for
that
sure.
he's gonna
not John Terry.
he's yes. So that kind of a person. Right? So I think until Chelsea finds that specific role, I don't think they have it in them yet. But they're gonna be up there. They're gonna be there for the top four for sure, and they're gonna be there
Yeah.
as long as they can, and they will hit their slump no matter what because they're gonna be in more competitions next season. Whether they have the squad or not, whether Maresca is capable of actually managing UCL plus PL or not, that's a whole another
I
thing.
actually don't think they'll make PL, dude.
You don't think
Newcastle-
they'll make top four?
who will lose
Top
out?
five, Chelsea.
No, who will lose out? See, now if Newcastle
Oh,
win
like
both
that.
the games in
Okay.
hand,
Let's say
they'll be top
if it is top five, who are going? Let's assume that it's like
they'll make
five
top
teams
five
right
for
now.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, so between Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, City, Villa, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, and City. I will for sure bet that Newcastle is going to be up there, and there is a potential that Nottingham Forest might not be there all the way till the end. That's my only concern.
Actually, wait, does Nottingham Forest have a game against any of the 4, 5, 6, 7? Because that will be interesting because that will be a proper 6-pointer for them to get in the
They
championship.
have a game against City
Ayyo.
at home,
that's
though.
Going to be,
No, that's FA Cup. My bad. That's FA Cup. So no, they don't. They have Everton, Spurs, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Leicester,
you're
and
right,
West
FA
Ham.
Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, see. Oh, they do play Chelsea though last game week.
What? I'm only seeing last game as West Ham.
What is on 25th May?
I only see
Game week 38. Yeah, dude, they
18th May,
pay.
bro.
Hey, dude, the last game week is beyond.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, it is 25th May. Okay. Oh, that is
Yeah.
probably one of those
That could-
top four deciding game.
Yeah, that could be a really big game.
Oh, goddamn.
Shit, that is big, dude.
A draw or a loss or a win, all of them may have an impact on who is going to make it to the top five, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Holy
that's
shit,
fun.
that is big, man. And what about Newcastle? Newcastle have to play Villa. What the fuck? Newcastle have to play Chelsea. Newcastle have
And
to play
United.
Arsenal. Dude, actually, I'll take it back. Newcastle have the toughest route to the top four.
Yes.
They're
I
playing
didn't
Brighton
realize that.
away. They're playing Villa away. I think they'll beat Manchester United at home, dude. Like, I don't see that being a problem.
Yeah. Villa,
Oh, wait.
Brighton, Chelsea.
They also play Everton last game week. That team though is there only for vibes. They'll come and screw everything up for everyone. So
And by then they are safe from the relegation side of it anyway, so they don't have anything
everyone's
to play
out.
anyway. Yeah.
No, I don't think there's any like relegation is over, dude. Like Southampton's
Yeah.
already down.
Oh,
Leicester will be down
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
Apparently
who's that
Southampton is
Ipswich?
like the quickest team to be
Yeah,
relegated.
31. Which is weird
Yeah.
because Derby County all they got was 11 points through a 38 game season.
But they
And
still
they still-
waited until
Yeah, 32nd or 33rd game week to go down.
yeah. The difference between the 18, 19, 20 and anybody above them is like 12 points. That's nuts.
Right now, the relegation teams are just hoping on a prayer that Wolves will screw up somewhere. 12
No.
points with 7 games left is not going to happen.
Yeah, no. And they're like in a 3-game winning streak. I don't think they're gonna.
Wolves
they're
are
gonna drop too many
they're
points.
doing something magical right now. They're getting their shit in order. In fact, if
Dude,
you want
both
FPL players,
Everton and Wolves, both of them did a crazy job just to get out of that
yeah.
crazy slump they had. Yeah.
No, plus the other problem is even if somehow, let's say, even if Ipswich closes in on Wolves, the goal difference is insane, dude.
Yeah, that's also there.
Ipswich is minus
My
34, Wolves are minus 16 or some minus 18.
Minus 34. What the hell is Southampton, man? Minus 51. That's crazy.
They've had like one of the worst seasons you can ever imagine for a Premier League club.
They conceded more than 2 goals, nearly 2 goals every single
For every
game.
time they scored, yeah.
Holy shit.
No, they're really in a bad spot.
They
I'm actually
conceded
glad.
more than 2 goals for sure. Every
Yeah.
single, like on an average. Dear God. Yeah.
There was not a good campaign for them. And plus, I think a lot of their signings from the summer also, they've all tied them to relegation contracts. So if you get relegated, they can walk out of the club and all that. So they're not even going to recoup a lot of money from some of the players.
also
I know
true.
Aaron
Yeah.
Ramsdale has a relegation clause in
Ramsdale
the
has that.
contract.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
terrible
Anyway,
for Southampton.
I don't want to spend too much time talking
Yeah.
about Manchester City versus Manchester United.
There was
All I have to
nothing
say
in the
is
game.
that, yeah, dude, this is entire plot of the game, okay? Bruno Fernandes does something very nice and magical, and then he gives it to somebody in the front, and that's over. That's basically the game.
Garnacho, man, fuck, so much attitude for a player of his terrible quality is not okay. The guy could have been special, dude. That's what I don't like Manchester United, but that guy could have been something really special.
Yeah. Even when they were down and about, Garnacho was like one of the silver linings for them over the
For
past
the end
couple
of
of
last
seasons.
season on, he was actually pretty good for them. In fact, today I'd say Bruno Fernandes was really good.
Excellent.
He got out of really difficult situations, tackled 2-3 people. got his
Literally
way
all
out.
transitions went through him. Yeah.
Yeah, they need a new striker, dude. United, like,
Dude, why is Hoyland even starting?
don't
Xerxes is
have
better
anyone
at every single thing.
neither one scores, so it doesn't really matter.
No, but still, this guy contributes. Xerxes comes back, tries to take
Yeah.
on that weird 10 role,
That's
tries to
probably why.
dribble around.
That's
Yeah,
probably why
he's-
they need a target man to cross into. That's why
They didn't cross.
they
Who
did.
was crossing?
No, the problem is they tried to, but Dallo's crosses go above, above the middle of the goal. He'll go to the other side. I was like, what are
Dallo
you guys doing? But if you
Yeah.
notice, right, the quality of the game was so bad. I
Yeah.
actually noticed the highest number of passes that any team strung together was 7 or 8.
Shit, that's
City.
embarrassing,
And,
bro.
Wait.
Especially
and that
from
was
City,
in
yeah.
their own half.
Yeah.
Meaningless passes.
Oh my god. Yeah, this game was as boring as it could get,
Yeah, I
and
wish I was
definitely
blind,
not
man, I
representative of the age-old Manchester Derby or Premier League football in general. This was very bad product. Yeah.
Oh, this was terrible. Anyway, so I think that's enough about that. Let's get to La Liga.
Okay.
I'll let you rant or
There's only one place to start. Okay, so that's Real Madrid. Valencia had gone 355 days without an away win in La Liga before yesterday. 300. That's a full year, by the way.
almost a year, yeah.
It's almost a full year. And then they actually outplay Madrid at Santiago Bernabeu, and they got a dodgy penalty. It's not even a penalty. And
Which
when
are
you,
madness.
I mean, we've given up on Madrid's penalties these days. It's okay, fine, bro. It's okay. Take it. It's okay. We don't care anymore.
Why does he keep taking ownership of penalties? Like, it makes no sense.
Carlos, you actually look at the camera. So they pan
Carlo
it
didn't
back
want him
to
to take it?
Ancelotti there, like he looks at this, his assistant is like, look at this. This is why I said no.
That was a bad penalty, dude.
Yeah, he took off Vinicius before the penalty shootout for that exact reason. He knows that
Yeah.
he's bad at it, and he already missed one. So this is not good in any manner of form. And then, bro, there's a situation where yes, it's not working. The midfield is completely broken. Even Modric, this guy Valverde couldn't help it. Nothing is working for Madrid in that particular game. And then Vinicius goes on some random dribbles and tries to cut across. Whatever, it was not working. And now you have taken out Brahim Diaz.
Yep.
And you have put in this guy Rodrigo, right? And then he takes off Vinicius, and then he puts in Endrick.
Endrick gets too many games for what he does on the pitch, man. Like, I honestly don't
On the
think
contrary, Mark Bernal, who was injured in August 27, 2024, has more minutes than Endrick till the end until
Yeah,
now.
but Endrick doesn't contribute. I'm not saying he gets too many minutes. I'm just saying for what he does on the pitch, it's not enough.
No, so you should see his contributions every time he comes onto the pitch. He scored a wonderful goal in the Copa del Rey this thing, and he was not supposed to be subbed off. He shouldn't have been subbed off in that
Who
game.
are you talking about?
Endrick.
Endrick, okay.
Yeah. He was the one who scored that nice chip goal and they were ahead. And then things were going fine for them. And then suddenly for whatever reason, this guy, he's a kid. I understand that you can't basically, he's also down in the pecking order, like, against Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, and all these folks, right? So I understand that he's a kid. You're going to have to take him out. But you're not going to be putting Vinicius ahead of him or something like that, right? My issue here is that now you've decided that you've taken out Vinicius, you've taken out Brahim Diaz, and you put in Rodrigo and Endrick. What's the ideal situation here? Rodrigo plays very well on the right. Mbappe plays amazing on the left.
On the left, yep.
And Endrick is actually the striker.
Some
For whatever reason, this Don Carlos does the opposite and jumbles every single position there is. He put Rodrigo on the left, Mbappe in the middle, and Endrick on the right.
I saw that.
Why?
Yeah.
What is even the point? You can understand that, okay, fine.
I think it was a fluid front three, though. They were switching around because I remember there was a point where Mbappe was playing in the center.
Yes,
there was a point where he drifted wide to the left. I was like, what are you doing? I know.
He had to because that's his natural state of play. So he would go this way. But the point here, I think what probably Ancelotti was worried about is that even the final goal, it came from the other side where Mbappe would have been. Both Rodrigo and Endrick actually come back and track back. They do contribute to the defense. Mbappe doesn't. So having Mbappe on the wing might be detrimental for them. Anyway, that's what happened. But you're not there to save the game, bro. You're there to win the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's 1-1.
See,
you should go win the game.
You don't buy Mbappe hoping that he will track back into anything. You're there. He's there because he wins you games. That's what Cristiano Ronaldo did, right? Like every time he played on the left, the left back knew he had to double time. Marcelo did all the dirty work for him.
Yes.
Right? So saying that you need Mbappe to contribute as much as other players is not going to happen.
I mean, you can ask him, but that's not what you want from a player like that. Yeah. That's not his best thing. And you would rather have him all his energy saved up for that one burst of attack that's going to win you the game. That's all you need to do. And then this bullshit around this league format for Carlos Ancelotti. He just sucks at league in any league. He had somebody put this tweet out over there. Carlo Ancelotti's league title record: Parma 0 out of 2. It's okay. Juventus 0 out of 3. Milan 1 out of 9. Chelsea 1 out of 2. PSG 1 out of 2. Madrid 2 out of 6. Bayern 1 out of 1. Napoli 0 out of 1. Everton 0 out of 1. Even if you take Parma and Everton out, he won 6 league titles out of the 24 potential seasons he had at big clubs.
Well, I don't know if you can call Napoli when he managed them as a very big club.
Napoli was at that point of time, yeah.
Really, like the Milan, I agree, Milan was not a great fit. Juventus didn't work.
Juventus was also the same thing, yeah.
See, Bayern and PSG are discounted because when Ancelotti managed them, they were just given.
I mean, he even lost a title with PSG.
Monaco, right?
He did 1 out of 2. Yeah,
he lost to Monaco, I think.
Yeah. So my point is that he probably is very good at the knockout football, and even that is also all vibes, bro. It's all vibes. It's like, okay, fine. He just raised the eyebrow, something happens, or whatever the way you want to put it out there. So it's just so bad.
I hope you're not saying he's a bad manager.
No, I think he's a very bad league manager.
League? Okay, that's a different issue, yeah.
He can't get things set in order for a longer period of season. He can probably do the magic over the knockout rounds, and he could get the win on that specific day, however the way we want to. But I appreciate his effort in keeping that creativity alive in football by letting the players do a lot of things instead of keeping that rigidity around it.
Unlike Pep, yeah.
Exactly. So that's the two sides of the coins, right? So one is Pep is excellent across the league. It's very, very good to play under Pep when you're going 38 games in a row, because you can put your brain at home and just follow his directions and you'll win it. Yes. But for knockout, it's a whole another game, and that's where probably he loses a lot more, and Ancelotti has a lot of success here. So it's up to you, but he has to do something else, man. This is not the way you want to manage Madrid. That team is dog shit to watch. Any Madrid fan is watching, even if they are winning the game, they come out of the game feeling worse. It's like playing FIFA. Yeah, I'm winning the game at what cost? I'm mentally tired, exhausted just watching this team. I felt so bad for Jude Bellingham in the entire game. That poor dude is running like a roadrunner all the way end to end.
Unfortunately, he's made to run like a headless chicken, is what I've seen. Not only in the league, but everywhere. He overcompensates for everyone in the field, I feel.
100%, bro. This guy is he's playing both striker role and the defensive midfield role for whatever reason.
10 plus 5, 10 plus 6.
It is, and you're lucky that he's not injured. at any point of time because of a muscle fatigue at this point. Nobody takes responsibility in the attack, and he's there. He drives the ball through and then gives it to either Mbappe or Vinicius. There and say attack. It's over. And this guy is just starting to pick back and run back again all the way to the defense.
I think the problem also comes down to the fact that they haven't adequately figured out how to replace Cruz, and I think the expectation from Modric right now is way too much for a 39-year-old. And
No, again, Modric doesn't play that much this season.
it doesn't
by the
matter,
way.
no. But like when he comes on, you expect him. What I meant is like when he comes on, you expect him to be this magician he was at 27, 28. It's not going to be easy to do that at 39 years. Your reactions are not that quick. You're tired much faster. So that's why he plays like this one half of the game or like last 20 minutes or something, right? But you're right about Bellingham. But I don't think people like Kamavinga, Chouameni are all doing work to replace.
Fraud.
Yeah,
Absolute
Chouameni
frauds.
is useless, man.
Dude, that dude, I don't even know how they bought him for $100 million or something like that.
That was
this
scam.
is, he's overrated as hell. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do CDM position proper. He doesn't do regular midfield proper. And this guy is left with, I mean, again, I blame Ancelotti for this. There was no reason to rest Asensio through the whole game. And play Chouameni as the CB, and then sub him off with David Alaba, who had a nightmare game right before this, and basically that's what costed him the goal at the end of the day, because David Alaba was not at the right position. Why couldn't you put Marcos Asensio? You're resting him for Arsenal game. Yeah, he could have played the last 10 minutes.
I think it was more to give Alaba some level of confidence before the Champions League game. That's what I felt.
Again, so this was not the game to do that, because your title is riding very, very closely, right? So they're lucky that Barca dropped points against Betis. Otherwise, this was out and out. It's over.
Yeah, it was over, yeah.
It could have been over by the time El Clasico was done. Do you really want that? You should not be in the situation like that. And even now, going to the next game.
If Madrid win the Clasico, they'll be 1 point behind Barca.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
For that, they also have to win the rest of the games, but yeah.
Fair. No, I'm just saying, assuming both teams win, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
they
but
were 1 point.
For the investments that Madrid have made on their squad over the last few years, I don't think this is where they would want to be. So I actually feel like, you know what I'm really worried about? And I don't think it'll happen, but something that struck me yesterday, right? If they want to replace Ancelotti, who is there in world football right now that can do that?
Xabi Alonso.
Okay.
That's all. They already know.
No, the other option in my head was Mikel Arteta, but I don't think that'll happen. But yeah, I mean, think about it, right? Oh yeah, maybe I could see. But yeah, those are the only two options I can think of. I can't think of anyone else.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know who they're gonna they're gonna call Zidane back again.
Really, that'll become too much.
He
Even
has
if
been
you
the
look
top
at it,
capsulation every time.
even his league record isn't great. He
Yeah,
won
yeah.
yesterday
Again, so
back-to-back Champions Leagues.
Madrid's league record has always been weird like this, because they always have managers like this.
Yeah.
They don't have managers who, okay, let's set
Think
up something for the
strategically,
longer term kind of situation. So it's always been that since the Galacticos era, probably Mourinho was like the only manager who could do both.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right.
Because his
You're right.
tactics were good for both league and
Even got them 100
the
points,
knockout.
right?
Yeah, 100 points. That's crazy. Highest scoring team of all time, I guess,
Yeah.
in my opinion. At least
No,
that
I
Real
don't
Madrid
think any
back
other
then.
team has got to 100 in La
No,
Liga.
yeah. Even this season, if Barca goes through the complete season without losing any game, they'll probably hit 90.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I think, you're right. Mourinho was the only one to get them 100 points.
Yeah. I think that's what I think they should focus on, something like this. The league titles have come in very, very far and few between for them over the past 20 years. Barca has basically wrapped up the entire league's status, right? So they've been
over a decade, it's like 6 Barca, 1 Atletico, and then 2 or 3 Real Madrid. Yeah.
That's what. So who knows? Maybe Simeone
Simeone to do what?
Simeone to take over Real Madrid.
From Atletico. Dude, he'll be Kima, dude, by the time he goes home if that happens.
Yeah.
See,
that'll be fun.
That is one more dude. Serial underachiever given how much he gets paid in world football.
I
Serial
guess so.
underachiever.
Okay, so here is my perspective, right? So that team was nothing before he has taken over,
I agree.
and everything that has come to Atletico Madrid up until now, there's a couple of league results and the Copa win. The first season he came in 2013, they won the Copa against Real Madrid actually in the final. So that was a good season for them. And then the couple of league seasons they had.
Two leagues, one Copa del Rey.
One Copa
For a manager
and
getting
two
paid
Champions
22
League
million.
finals. That's all.
For a manager getting paid 22 million a year is not good enough. And we're not talking about like the Real Betis who or Malagas who don't have a lot of money. He gets backed. He gets backed properly.
Sure, I understand that. But Atletico Madrid fans probably keep him at a much higher level
Oh, for sure.
than any other person who has ever taken over for them. And I don't think in their heart they will ever say that, hey man, you should just step down at this point. He might go away and say that, okay, I think I've done maximum in my hands and I think somebody else should take this over. I think they would give him that respect to leave on
sure.
his own terms rather
like
than
Wenger.
sack him. Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah,
like
pretty
Wenger
much.
for them, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's. I know they scored like a 92nd or 93rd minute winner today. I was really hoping for Atletico to be much closer in the race. They're 7 points behind Barca even with today's win. That's not okay.
They could be. All it takes is like one more game week going difficult way, difficult for Barca and Real Madrid, and they're there because of the fixture list which we have, right? So Arsenal game
Yeah.
is going to be like extremely difficult for Real Madrid, and Dortmund is not going to be easy for us either. So and then we play like reasonably tough games as we go through, and Real Madrid has even more tougher games. So that's gonna give Atletico enough to expect or hope that we should
they're
just
also
keep
not
doing
in
our
any other
stuff.
competition. So
Yes, nothing. So this is all they have to play for, and that's pretty much it. At least to wrap up from the Barca side of it, the fatigue has caught them, and I could see it in Lamin's running. Pedri's trying to escape out of the pressure. They look down and out, tired so badly, and I don't even know why Flick has played Yamal all the way through the end of the game. He should have been subbed off by like 50th minute or something like that. I love him, but he was trying so
he's
hard
a
to
child,
make things
man.
happen.
You can't expect so much out of him also.
That's what, he should get. That's what I've been telling last session also, right? So the two players who need the maximum amount of rest right now is Yamal and Pedri because they just non-stop played all game.
every game, yep.
And Koundé, I think he played 100 games in a row now.
Ooh, that's
The
a lot.
only times he was rested was because he came in late to the training, and there was a punishment he was rested. So
That is
this
weird.
dude should randomly pick a specific day and like come late to the training. That's the only way he's going to get rest now at this
Yeah,
point.
maybe.
So yeah,
But also, you don't have another centre back that can replace him now. In the
No, there's
squad.
no fullback. He's like a fullback at this point
Yeah,
for us,
whatever,
and
whatever.
no way, no other person at this point can actually replace Koundé's
That's why he plays every
position.
game.
Araujo is like a stopgap solution. Only when there's like a pacey player we want to handle. Now Koundé and Araujo still play together, while Koundé being the fullback and Araujo trying to cover the wing a little bit. But yeah, that's like the only player we have in that spot. So I'm sure Barca will try to invest for that position in the
summer,
future.
Yeah, in the summer, yeah, but I don't see like the problem with Barca also is the squad isn't like gigantic. That's
Yeah,
the
we
other
have
thing,
bare
right?
minimum squad at this point.
Exactly, yeah. So even if you have to rest someone, who do you rest? And with Madrid losing yesterday, I can understand why Flick was trying to play some of his biggest players because he wanted
It's
to
okay,
capitalize
chill.
on. Yeah, he wanted to capitalize on that, right? Like, so if you get that win, then
Yeah.
you are effectively six
points.
points ahead.
Yeah.
Right? Then, more or less, you're like, okay, screw it. I'll just concentrate on Champions League after that. Because then
Yeah,
La Liga becomes a
6
routine.
point clear and playing El Clasico at home. I think
Yeah, exactly. So potentially
we
nine.
could have even just gone for a draw for El Clasico at that point. The
Fair
issue
enough,
with
whatever,
this
right?
draw point is you're going to bring Atletico back into the race if you expect for a draw or an El Clasico and keep things the way they
No,
are.
that's what I'm saying. Which is why I think Flick was trying to play his strongest squad as much as possible to try and get that winner so that he can. Later on in the season, he'll be like, okay, fine, you rest up, you chill. We've got Inter or Bayern. Because that semi-final is not going to be easy.
No,
That
of
is
course.
going to take
even
the life out of you guys.
I think people are underestimating what Dortmund can do even in the
Over two
in
legs
the
are
coming
good enough to
weekend.
beat them, man.
It's still, bro. Again, it's not easy to go back to Dortmund's home and actually play there the second leg. So that's very, very. If Barca doesn't wrap this game up in the first leg, at least by like 2-goal advantage or 3-goal advantage, I expect a very, very difficult game at Dortmund. We had like an amazing, one of the best games Barca had played was against Dortmund, 2-3 win with Ferran Torres coming in and scoring a brace after coming back coming on as a sub. Yeah, people underestimating like this game.
I don't
but
know. Maybe
think
I'm one of
this
those
is going to be-
people. Maybe I'm one of those people. But I think over two legs, I think you're good enough. Given Dortmund's league form, and I think they're 7th or 8th right now in the league.
Yeah. Same
I
thing
don't
happened
think
last
they-
season also, bro.
Yeah, but last season their manager was Nouri Sahin, so I don't really think I could have expected much from that team. I hear you though. I hear you. They could be a completely different squad in the Champions League. They could be a lot more terrifying.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, Dortmund are 8th right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
maybe you're right. Maybe they don't have anything to play in the league, so they could potentially invest in trying to do something in the Champions League.
Yeah. And
But
the
either way,
fatigue has
yeah,
come in right now. Playing 4
yeah.
games in 10 days, it has caught up right now. I could see that. Even except for the rested players like Lewandowski, Ferran, and this guy, Rafinha, none of them looked like, okay, they could go full speed at any point of time in the game. Like Lamine and Pedri, especially, they looked very, very tired throughout the game. So I was hoping that they would get some rest at say, 60th minute or 70th minute, taking them off. But a lot of attack comes through Lamine Yamal.
Unfortunately for you,
And
yeah.
Rafinha not being there on the pitch like early on because Hansi Flick is playing very, very safe with Rafinha because he's completely
He's a
overloaded
little,
his muscles. And
he's
he's
also a little
probably
brittle.
on the.
Yeah.
He had an injury already this season and he also had an injury last season. So there is this is like the crunch time of it. We don't want to lose this guy for like any of the part of the 2 weeks or something like that. And
Especially not
the
his,
loss of
not on his
Danny
form.
Olmo and Casado also is like, weighing on us. So probably Olmo will come back another week or so. He should be there for the Leganes game and the second leg of Dortmund. But we need to make sure that we wrap the game up and the tie in the first leg as much as we can.
Yeah, but like you said, even if you get past this, assuming you make a meal out of it and you get past it, right, the next game is going to drain your shit out, dude.
Crazy.
Especially if you play Inter, God
No.
help you guys.
I hate that, bro. I would rather play Dortmund. Bayern, bro.
Bayern? Yeah.
Because they make it a game, they'll take it to you, and then you can
Yeah.
probably have like a back and forth, and the better attacking team wins at that point.
Yeah. Which you guys are
With
pretty
Inter-
good enough. You've already beaten
Yeah.
them this season 4-2 or something,
Yeah.
right?
4-1, yeah.
4-1, yeah, whatever. No, but Inter, my God, that team is scary, man. It is
And
going to
now
drain the crap out of you
It
guys.
is probably going to be Inter because Bayern has too many injuries and they lost Musiala again. They lost Musiala when we played Bayern. Even he was not there at that point as well. Even now he's probably not going to be there. Even if we have to face him. So Inter has like a pretty good chance of easily going through this without having to break a sweat.
Yeah, again, I'll take it back to the same logic, right? Like Bayern have more or less wrapped up the league. They don't really care. I don't
Yeah,
think they-
probably. Yeah, 7
Inter
points clear.
are fighting against Napoli for the Serie A. So it all depends on how much rest those players get on those days, especially at home. Bayern will not be easy.
No, it was a 50-50 tie for me up until the injuries. With no starting centre backs and Musiala not being there, I have a feeling that this is
Fair
going to be an advantage Inter for sure.
I just don't. Yeah, I would agree with you because I've been saying that Inter are dark horses, but
Yeah.
I'd say it's like 51 Inter 49 or 52 Inter 48 Bayern right now.
I
But
have
then that's the
70-13.
problem, dude. But that's a problem. This Harry Kane fucker will come from nowhere and he'll score, man. Can't that correctly does this at the wrong time. I never know, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I feel like Inter also are dealing with some injuries, right? Dumfries is injured. Lautaro
I
is
think
just
Dumfries
coming
is
back.
coming back though.
Okay, so
I
Inter
think so,
are
I'm not
also
sure.
dealing with some injuries, but it's not as bad as what
Bayern
Bayern
is
has
going
to deal
through,
with
yeah,
at this
that's
point.
true.
They have their own laundry list of that, but yeah.
I don't
Anyway,
know,
so
man.
that's a good segue into what are you expecting out of the 4 Champions League quarterfinals prediction time?
4-8.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, 8. Yeah.
I don't think anything changes for me, dude. I think Real will be. I'm saying over 2 legs. Forget like the first leg, second leg, and all. Over 2 legs, Real Madrid still good enough to beat Arsenal because we absolutely have no firepower. I don't.
So you
think
think is it going to be an easy game for Arsenal? Real Madrid?
No, I don't think so. Like given their current form, I think we are
Yeah.
dangerous enough to make it difficult for them. We might even get down to the fact that we'll win at home, but we'll go there and get massively screwed. It could be that, or hopefully we read up on what happened with Valencia. We do some analysis and win. But I think that tie for me in all of the quarterfinals, I think is the most balanced at this point.
Which one?
Real Madrid Arsenal. In
No
terms
way.
of
Inter and Bayern is way more balanced than Real Madrid and Arsenal.
is it Inter Bayern? Wait, I'm getting confused with who's playing who. Shit, wait, hold on. Hold on. I got
There are
confused.
4
I thought,
quarterfinals.
Yeah,
PSG,
right,
Villa, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Barca, Bayern, Dortmund.
Okay, you're right. There's a difference. Okay. Arsenal Real Madrid is balanced because both teams suck at this point. Inter Bayern is I'd still say Inter, dude. Like
Yeah.
I'd still say Inter is favorites here because that team is just difficult to get through.
Yeah.
It
Least
makes
amount of
it-
goals considered.
Yeah, exactly. They're tough, dude. So I wouldn't say it's as balanced as Arsenal Real Madrid. I expect Barca to go through against Dortmund. I expect who's this?
PSG, Villa.
PSG will go through, man. I can't see Villa doing this over 2 legs. It's just too much. And I don't think their defense can handle the likes of Barcola, Dembele, It's too much for them to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a weird feeling that we're going to get an upset there
With PSG,
with PSG Villa. I don't know. I just have
Okay.
this strange feeling that the Villa will park the bus, frustrate the hell out of them, and then
dude, if you're telling
Yeah.
me out of all the Premier League teams, Aston Villa makes it furthest into the Champions League, then that's weird, dude. Like you had a league where you had a Champions League where Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and Villa played, and Villa are the ones that go the furthest is weird.
I mean that's basically what happened with Dortmund last season, right? So Champions League is weird like that, right? So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
you get the swing of the ball, the spin of the ball randomly towards your side, and everything is okay for you.
Everything works. Yeah.
It doesn't matter whoever you're playing. So
No, it's
imagine that
also
game.
it's already weird that Arsenal and Aston Villa are the only English teams left in the Champions League.
That's
Because
also true. Yeah.
if you had to choose two, you would say City and Liverpool.
City and Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So it's actually weird that we are still there. You know, the funniest thing about all of this is Arsenal is still the second favorites to lift the Champions League. I don't know how the fuck we're still number 2 in the favorites list. But in
I
terms
think
of
they're
betting-
they're banking on Real Madrid win and the PSG. Even if they get PSG, I think they are feeling that they are strong enough. But not after Gabriel's injury, man. I don't see.
I don't. Yeah,
much.
I don't fully
Yeah.
understand how we were touted to be. Like
That'll be a
60%.
humbling worse than what Liverpool got because Liverpool was lucky, like to the next level in the first leg. I don't
yeah.
think Arsenal is going to be that lucky. Yeah.
No. Even if we beat Real Madrid, we're going out to PSG.
Yeah. Imagine if it is actually Arsenal versus Villa for a semi-final.
Oh boy, we could make it to the Champions League final, which we lose, but still,
Yeah.
which we lose. Because if it is Inter, though, I can guarantee you we are not winning.
Yeah.
There's no way they're
You-
penetrating that Inter defense.
Yeah. That's like the kryptonite for Arsenal at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. We have a better chance of beating Barca if they show up in the finals, but
Yeah, that's
not Inter. No chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Crazy.
it is going to be
Yeah.
exciting to see what will happen in the next. I think by Tuesday and Wednesday you'll kind of get a good sense of who will make it to the semifinals. Somehow I have a feeling of that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think so because I think Arsenal and Real Madrid game is so close that a lot of Arsenal fans were actually expecting an ass whooping until the last couple of game weeks when they actually realized how bad Real Madrid can be. And,
Yeah, but-
when they were feeling happy, suddenly Gabriel gets injured, and they're like, "Oh, screw it, we're back to our depression mode again." And then we're gonna get our ass.
No, I'm actually not so worried, dude. Kivior is actually a pretty solid defender. He's not
Yeah, he
bad.
is.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's genuinely not bad. But so when we were drawn to PSV also, right? Like people said, oh yeah, it's easy fixture. But the same team beat Juventus, 3-2 or whatever, right? Before they beat Liverpool, albeit depleted Liverpool
I mean,
squad.
it's a secondary squad.
Depleted Liverpool, whatever, right? At the end of the day, the point being, PSV were not a pushover, but we whooped them, right? I somehow expect some shit like that to go down in any of these matches where I think, okay, by Wednesday I can tell you who are the 4 teams that will make it there. I
Maybe.
can for sure, Barca will be there, one of the 4 teams. PSG will be one of the 4 teams. The other 4, I actually don't know who will win. The other 2 games, other 4 teams,
Yeah.
I don't know who are the other
Yeah.
2 that will win.